All right, it is hashtag Friday Pie Day. Everybody knows what day it is. Everybody's riding on gains right now, especially if you're inside of the Nordic Alpha community. You're absolutely killing it right now. While everyone else, and I mean everyone else, is out here running around looking like friggin' Ricky Bobby.
Mr. Bobby, come on down here. Help me, Jesus! Help me, Jewish God! Help me, Allah! Ah! Help me, Tom Cruise!
The Wolfpack's taking gains. We took 0 losses this week. Everybody else is losing, but somehow inside of the Nordic Alpha Wolfpack, no one lost. That's pretty crazy. Okay, so we're going to tell you why you shouldn't be scared about this, at least yet, because there is a potential to be scared about this, but it's at a certain level. Okay, so let me see what is going on here. Give me 1 second. I've got a special guest today as well. And we're going to change the title to this friggin' what's it called? Because apparently it's not pushing it out on YouTube at all because we have 1 person on YouTube. So we're going to change the title on all of this. John, go ahead and share your screen really quick. And I am going to I want you to tell people why this bounced here. Because we called this out inside of Nordic Alpha days in advance.
Awesome. What's going on, everybody? So let's take a look at Bitcoin. And let's go to the daily time frame. We can see, we clear the charts up just a little bit. We were watching this massive daily Model 1 Wyckoff model, and we knew that this was going to be distributing down on a daily time frame. So we were expecting a massive pullback already, right? So, I mean, we just use a few different tools, and we can see that we are nailing our golden pocket right now. And you can see that if we do pull back up, we have this weekend that we are going to have a line in the sand. And this is the line in the sand currently at this level. So bulls, if we want to pull off a bullish scenario, they need to pull this up before the weekend's end. And can you see my screen, Drew?
100%.
Awesome. So this is the level that I'm looking at for a bounce right now. However, things are looking a little bit weak because I'm sure everyone is a little bit on the edge of fear right now as things are looking really, really bearish. But we just have to wait and see how this weekend plays out.
Perfect. Look at this, dude. Sometimes all it takes is a nice little switch of the title and YouTube gives you a little bit of love. We got 25 people here on YouTube. We've got, how many, 30 or 10 people here on Twitter. Man, we appreciate you all. If you're not out here smoking cigars like we are right now, you did something wrong. And don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying that you're wrong. We're not saying you're wrong. We're saying you might have gotten the wrong information, okay? So drop in the comments section, did you make money on this rally? Because I'm going to show you about 30 different times that we made money. Not 30, but you know what I'm saying. I'm going to show you a bunch of different times where we made money. We called these levels out like way in advance. How did we go from 17 people on YouTube to 3? I don't know. I think StreamYard's freaking out. I'm not worried about it. It is what it is. We'll see what happens. Now, I want to share my screen really quick. Show you what the hell is going on here because we got some crazy stuff happening. Bang. All right, so that's my win rate. That's my bad. Let's show you some trades that we took this week inside of Nordic Alpha that we absolutely killed it on. We called the top on silver. By the way, we called the top on silver, both John and I, in different ways. Here's one of our trades, right? This bad boy hit just now, okay? But what hit before that? Well, you probably guessed it. We took it last week, literally at the beginning of this week, actually, it was Monday. We took this bad boy all the way up to the all-time high, and we made 7.5% in the matter of about 3 days on this trade. And then guess what we did? You guessed it. We shorted the top. We rode it back down for another 7.5% gain. If you don't believe me, I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to reload my trading view because it is absolutely looking wild right now, and it always does this to me. It irritates me, but what are you gonna do about it, right? What are you gonna do? So let's go ahead and show you what else we did here. All right, if we pull this up, we'll show you why did we short this top. right? Why did we short this top? And I'm going to show you inside of the futures market here in just a second. I don't know why ES isn't working. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to show you inside of the futures market exactly why we shorted this top, but you got to give me 1 second to pull up my trades and show you exactly what we shorted, okay? So first and foremost, we shorted right here, okay? This is the absolute bare minimum top that you could have gotten, was right here at about $54.26. We actually took this trade inside of the Smart Money Commodities community inside of Verified Investing, where I'm a verified pro trader at and commodities expert. And we took about 5% all the way down here and took profits today. And then we flipped along, right? So we took that all the way down. This was given out ahead of time, literally 2 days ahead of time inside of Nordic Alpha. We gave it out the day in advance. Bang, took it all the way down for about 7.73%. Absolutely insane trade. Let's say you didn't even get that trade. We gave a secondary entry and we said, look, maybe you didn't catch the top. Maybe you didn't, you didn't have the, we'll call it the cojones, the eggs, whatever, the huevos to take it at the top, and you wanted a confirmation. Well, here was your confirmation. Bang, you entered there. You still made 7%. I don't know what to tell you, but if you're not inside of Nordic Alpha taking gains with us, I have absolutely no idea what you're doing. And as soon as we came right down here, we just bang, flipped it long. We'll see what happens. Obviously, this was a key level for me where I said, hey, this is the 2.0, the 2.0 fib extension. And we also front ran a naked daily VWAP, which I would have liked to have seen us actually tag it with a candle, or not a candle body, but a wick. We didn't quite get it. So there is a potential that we do rip back down here before blast off, but we will see what happens with that. Now I want to show you on the futures charts and markets exactly why we took this. Well, as you can see, first and foremost, you have an upward sloping parallel that you're hitting the top end of. We came down here. We got a nice little, we'll call it this was an AMD model. If you go down to smaller time frames like the 12-hour chart, this was an AMD model that John loves to talk about. We'll let him talk about it if he wants to. And perfect entries, perfect exits on this. You also had an inverted head and shoulders if you like charting patterns. Boom, hit the full profit target on that. Secondarily, we came right up here. Divergence, double top, hit the top end of the parallel, wicked through it. Nice little topping tail candle and a big dip down to the golden pocket, right? And this, I believe it was a golden pocket. It might not have been the perfect golden pocket retrace, but pretty darn close to it. And definitely a 0.5 retrace on this entire move right here. Perfect 0.5 retrace. Entries absolutely everywhere. That was just silver, man. We haven't even talked about gold. We got into gold. We took this nice long trade on gold right here that we gave out. Yep, you guessed it. In advance, we got the trade. We're in it right now. Obviously, we have a secondary trade down here where we can enter at this $4,000 level, the 2.618 fib. And that is that. Inside of Bitcoin, dude, Bitcoin was an absolute animal for us this week. We murdered it on Bitcoin so many different times. Let me show you the trades really quickly. We got these right here. Where's my trades folder? Bang. Here's the trade that hit. We took that trade. Obviously, we did not get full take profit on this. We had to exit out of this early, right? Secondarily, we got this one right up here. We shorted this top again, gave this out days and days in advance. I gave this out a week in advance. We reported the retrace of the 0.786 from this big move down. We had a 0.61. This was right in between the 0.786 and the 0.618 fib. And there was a naked point of control right here. Bang. Perfect entry, perfect exit, barely any stop loss. 30x risk to reward trade on this. If you're not taking these trades, well, if you're not making money inside of Nordic Alpha, it's because you're not. Secondarily, even before that, we took this trade at the top. We took it all the way down to the bottom, got full take profit, absolutely insane trade. And now we have this trade right here. This is not it. This is it right here. You caught the bottom. We're talking about this level down here. Anywhere from about 94.6 to about 93.5 was our level, saying, hey, you come in here, you got a nice swing trade. You're obviously catching a fade here now, but could you keep pumping back up? So long as the S&P continues to go up, I do believe you would probably see crypto continuing to go up. But as it sits right now, we are just waiting for this trade to see if it plays out. Obviously, we got to wait for breaks of structure, market structure shifts to the upside on smaller time frame charts. But the other thing that I want to point out is we don't just kill it inside of gold. We don't just kill it inside of silver. We don't just kill it inside of Bitcoin. We don't just kill it on scalps. We don't just kill it on day trades or swing trades. We also kill it inside of the equities markets, where I gave out about 3 different times that you could have entered last week. We hit this one, bang, took it all the way up to the top, and then guess what you did? You just entered short, man. You just entered short, and we entered this short right here. Okay, right over here, bam, took this whole move down. Obviously, we haven't got our full take profit yet. We're still here. And let's move this trade over to right about here. Bam. And we took this trade. We will see how far we can run this down. I think this made me about 50% on an options position. Absolutely killed it. And then there was obviously this one as well, where if you break under this, you bearishly back test it, you can start entering shorts. This one was a full take profit, perfect entry, perfect exit, flawless track record inside of Nordic Alpha this week. It was absolutely insane. You look like a Viking. Yes. If you don't want to trade, I have absolutely no idea why you are watching this stream, my friend, because that is all we do inside of Nordic Alpha. We can teach you how to trade. It is not as confusing as you think it is. I promise you. It sounds confusing, but if you can learn from the pros, you will understand exactly how to traverse these murky markets, because we will give you the levels. We will give you the education. We will give you the signals out in time for you to make an actionable. It's always ahead of time when we're doing this. John, tell them a little bit about what you do inside of Nordic Alpha, because what I do is a little different than what John does. And John literally coaches you. It's kind of insane that he does this, but he does do it. He coaches you like step by step through trades. It's almost like you're in his head. It's pretty crazy.
Absolutely. So if you are in our VIP section, you'll see as I go through every single trade, I update what I'm looking for, how to get into these trades. I'm updating you almost by the minute on some of these. I include where I get in these trades, as well as where I'm putting my stop losses, what I'm looking for while I'm in the trade, so you really have an understanding of what it's like to be inside my head before a trade, during a trade, and how and where to exit a trade. As you can see here, that same trade, I'm moving my stop loss down to protect and lock in profits every step of the trade. You can see that this was at 10:37 a.m., 10:39 a.m., 10:40 a.m. So like I'm telling you, I am updating you by the minute in some of these updates. Again, 10:47, 10:49, 10:52. I'm telling you everything in great detail of how to get into these trades and how to manage these trades. But let's go back over to the charts real quick and show you what we were looking at this week. And well, right now, I wanted to also show you this parallel channel that I have a proprietary parallel channel deviation zone that we are absolutely hitting to the dollar, as well as a demand zone and the greater macro golden pocket. So in this type of scenario, yes, we are looking to buy down here, but you have to also learn how to protect your profits, protect your position, so you can then mitigate those losses. And that is what I do best. That's what you're going to learn in the VIP. That's what you're going to learn in the one-on-one mentorships with me. Let's take a quick look at gold. And this trade right here was a 5R trade, a little bit above a 5R trade. Why were we looking at this level? Well,
John,
it was
tell them what 5R means. Tell them what 5R means.
Yeah. So let's say, for example, you have $100 on this trade, meaning if your stop loss was right here at the top of this order block or your level that you're looking to trade from, you would lose $100 right here. But if you were to follow this down and take the profits at your next demand level in the golden pocket, like we found down here, that would mean that you would have 5R multiple of that $100 or 5 times it, meaning you risk $100 to profit $500. And that's how I like to trade, is I like to minimize my risk, refine my entries to have the biggest risk to reward available that I can find out of a trade. In this particular trade, we were looking to take a short from this level. Why? Because it was an order block level. As well, we come over here and pull our Fibonacci from the top down. You see it was also our golden pocket of this range. We are also in the discount section of this range. I'm sorry, the premium section of this range. You always want to buy in discount and sell in premium, where the old saying is buy low, sell high. So that's exactly what we're doing. We're buying low, selling high, selling off high, buying back low. So in this particular model, we had a Wyckoff Model 2, which is a 3-tap model, and you follow market structure up into your level. And as you see market structure shift, and I can show you the details of this inside of our Discord or on one-on-one mentor, it takes some practice, but I guarantee you it's not like anything else. I mean, it's no different than anything else. You crawl and you learn to walk. You're walking, you learn to run. It just takes practice. It just takes the knowledge and then applying it through repetition. So
John,
like we see here,
to make it a little bit simpler for them,
absolutely.
A Wyckoff Model 2 looks eerily similar to a Head and Shoulders pattern, okay?
Right.
And a Wyckoff Model 1 looks eerily similar to just an upward sloping parallel that's about to break down, right?
Yes, absolutely. So they have very, very similar patterns in the way they present themselves on the charts. However, we do trade them a little bit differently. But what this is telling us is that big money is getting involved right here to have a distribution back down to have another accumulation. Like this sell-off right here was to only have big money accumulate down here. So in this particular trade, again, 5-hour trade, and we can see that we had this for our buyback or a long, and we are already in that trade in profit. Now let's go over to silver because this was a beautiful setup. This is what we're talking about with AMD, or also called a power of 3. So you have your accumulation range here. You have a long form manipulation down here, followed by that quick thrust up, which is your distribution back up to take this range high. And this played out perfectly. And it also gave us a phenomenal inverted head or shoulders, or like I like to look at it, through a Wyckoff Model 2 accumulation. So this period here was big money accumulating over 2+ weeks right here, 16 days. Yep. So they had to enter in a lot of money in here, which you can't just enter in a $100 million position in one go. So what they have to do is they have to enter in over and over and over slowly, maybe $5-10 million at a time, to be able to send this back up, but they want to get in a big position here. So that is what this model is showing us. So once you understand how to get positioned in these types of models, I can tell you that there is a demand level right here. And you can get in right here on this wick, put your stop loss here, and take a mega swing long from a very small position.
Show them what that was, probably like a 10R easy.
Let's just take a look. That is about a 6R. But if you would have had a refined entry off of a smaller block, it could have been maybe 10, 11, 14R.
Yep.
And that brings us over to...
And we literally took that trade. I gave that exact trade out live on the Golden Nugget last Wednesday. Not 2 days ago, but the Wednesday before that, I gave that exact trade out and then showed everybody, hey, this is where we're taking it to. And then as soon as we get there, we're shorting it right back down. That's how we made literally 15% in like 4 days, 5 days, something like that. It was insane. I showed you guys earlier both of those trades where we rode silver up and then rode it back down, and now we're longing it again. Literally, rewind the track if you didn't see that.
Yes. So on the silver trade that we just had, the short here, we can understand that the majority of the time, markets trade in a range. And and this is a proprietary tool, this is a range deviation tool that I built off. And these pockets, these brighter blue zones right here and right here are deviation zones of this bigger range. And I play those to perfection with small wicks into these zones. And I'm able to short and long these zones over and over again with familiar, repeatable patterns. Now, look what we have here. Let's go back to gold. You see what gold did at the supply zone, right? You see this formation? It is almost exactly like the formation on silver. So you can trade both of these in everything the same way on any time frame, using market structure, using supply and demand, range theory, and liquidity theory. So again, we get that Wyckoff Model 2 distribution going back down and longing this range low deviation zone for another scalp after your swing short. Now, let's get over to this beauty of a trade on ES really quick, because again, we're seeing the same models over again. Like I'm saying, they're repeatable. What is Wyckoff showing us? It's showing that big money's getting involved. And why is that important? Because we want to take big moves. We don't want just to move from here to here. We want to take this zone all the way down to here. And if you knew how to play this Wyckoff model like I've showed in the VIP, and I teach you step by step in my one-on-one mentorships, this one trade could have netted you 17R. That is absolutely insane. And let me remind you, if you have $100 in this trade, that is $1,700 in profit. Now, how long would have this taken you? This was like a 2-day trade.
Yeah.
2 days, right? $1,700 in 2 days. And now we can see down here, let's go on the 5-minute time frame. You can see that we have a Model 1 Wyckoff here. And if you would have long this order block with the stop loss underneath, that was a 9R trade. So we had a 17R trade with a 9R trade back to back. That is insane.
Insane money.
Y'all definitely need to get into the Discord. But not only that, participate, chat. Let's learn. Let's talk through these trades. Let's work you through progressing and educating yourself so you are able to do this on your own in due time with practice.
Yep, 100%. And that's the whole point. As it sits right now, the VIP is only $29 a month. If you can't make $29 a month off of the probably, I don't know, I would say 100 trades that we probably give out every single month, then it's because you're not taking trades. We've had 0 weeks where we have ever lost money. 0. Go ask anybody in the VIP. How many weeks have we lost money? And this week, we actually took only profitable trades. We didn't have one single trade at a loss. Insane. And we've done that week after week after week. Now, let's talk about Bitcoin really quick. I want to show you guys what's going on with Bitcoin, okay? So as it sits right now, and drop in the comment section any TA that you want to see. We'll go through the usual suspects. I have no problem with doing that. We're going to do Solana. We'll do XRP. We'll do Cardano. If you want, we'll do ETH. You know, we'll go through the usual suspects, but drop in the comment section what you want to see, and we'll surely try to get to it if we can, right? Now, first and foremost, we're coming down. We've got a nice, as John was talking about, the AMD model, right? We've got a nice, beautiful range right here. We're deviating outside of it. Let's see how long we can range here. If we can come down here and get a nice triple tap, I mean, this could be even like a smaller term triple tap on like a 30-minute chart, maybe even a 15-minute chart right now for a nice little Wyckoff bang, bang, bang that could send you blasting up into oblivion, right? And so what we're looking for is we want to see this range sideways for a little bit inside of this box, right? Pick one, Uganda Dan, pick one. We can't do all three because there will be a bunch of people that also ask for other things, right? So just pick whichever one. I would not do DAG. DAG is dead. Maybe ICP. DAG is dead. They didn't get their government contracts. Let's see what happens here on the chart. If we can get this trade right here, if you're already in it, great. If not, you can enter right here at the bottom end of this parallel at about $93,600. Call it 93.3, right? That's kind of your last ditch effort. And I want to talk about where Bitcoin is at from a long-term perspective. So let me go ahead and show you what's going on with Bitcoin, okay? Let's take this AMD model off of here really, really quickly. Where's my AMD model? right here. Okay. So this is our parallel, right? And I'll go ahead and just do the regular parallel. That way you don't have to see the deviation one, right? Apply defaults, bang. I have no idea what happened. We're going to leave it as is. I'm not going to mess up my charts. As you can see, we're in this nice upward sloping parallel, and you can see this nice little pivot point. If you get under this, this is a pivot point. This is extremely bad news. This is bear market. This is bear market right here. You get under this nice big old fatty uptrend that we're seeing right now. This is bear market. Now, can you save the ship here at $88,000? Maybe. Can you save the ship here at $85,000? Maybe. You get under 85, it's guaranteed bear market, essentially. That's what we're talking about. And this is the deviation tool that John was talking about that literally only he has, and I obviously have it as well because he gave it to me. But this is where your last-ditch effort is to kind of try to come down here, catch a bounce, and get back up in here into this uptrend and start targeting all-time highs. Now, if you can catch a bounce from here, this is where you would be expecting new all-time highs. If you get an actual floor here, this is where you would be expecting new all-time highs to come in later, right? Obviously, it's going to take you a little while to get up there, right? But this is what I would be expecting. Either this, boom, right? And you're probably coming down here to at least the 74 range, and you could fulfill this entire range down into the 50s, right? This is all the way down to 50K, right? Look at this thing. I mean, this is nasty. This is pure filth. It's unadulterated filth, okay? You don't want to get down there, I promise you. Everybody's going to have a really bad day, and I promise you, everybody's going to go Donna Goodo. They're going to be blind whenever they get down there. They're not going to know what to do.
I'm legally blind. I can see, barely.
Barely? But how do we even know this? Well,
I've been doing this more than you. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers. You ain't been doing the education. Bro, you ain't been doing the education.
We've been doing the education. We've been doing this more than you. Do whatever you want to do. I have a documented win rate. I'm not telling you to pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm telling you to pay attention to what the charts are telling you. And the charts are telling you, you break down from here. Dude, it is horrible news for all of crypto. That means Bitcoin. That means everything. Let's go to the usual suspects. We'll do Cardano first. I know I got to spell it out to try and find it. All right, so here's Cardano breaking down from the level that we were talking about. This was the floor on Cardano. If you break this floor, it is absolutely horrible. You're breaking it right now. If you break below here, you come down, and then you bearishly backtest this, dudes and dudettes, homies and homettes, and non-binary people alike, because we do not discriminate on this channel. We love everybody. You will be taking a nice, well, that's a tiny short. I don't know what the hell goes on in my shorts sometimes. It messes up my trades, man. Here's the trade. Where's it at? Why does it always do this to me? Look at this. That's your trade. Just kidding. Here's your trade. Good God, man. This is your trade. You're shorting at least down here to about 46 cents. Your next level of support, 41. And then it's a precipitous fall down to 32 doll hairs, right? These are your pivot points right here. This is your support. This is your support. This is your support. This is really your floor. You ever get under this, Cardano might never come back, baby. We don't know. You got to take it level by level. This is your potential trade. This is where you start. This is where you continue. And then this is where you continue again. And this would be your full target on this. Obviously, you don't even need to set your stop loss all the way up here. I mean, obviously start with your stop loss set up there, but as soon as you start moving down, de-risk yourself, set your stop loss a lot tighter, and you can have like a 20x risk reward on this instead of a 4.3, baby. Now, the other thing that you would like to see, if Bitcoin does, for whatever reason, get a wild hair up, it's, you know what, comes up here, retraces, you would like to see it break up to here. This would be your target, right? Now, obviously, there's levels in between there. You got to break this. You're going to have to break this. You're going to have to break this, right? But this is your ultimate target right up here at about 83 cents. You break outside of that, it gets extremely bullish for Cardano. But what do we know about this charting pattern? Well, unfortunately, this charting pattern right here is what is called the descending triangle. And although it might seem to look a little bit bullish, it is not bullish. It is a bearish charting pattern. This breaks down like 67% of the time. And when it breaks down, oh, buddy, watch out below, because it breaks down to a degree that could be unfathomable to some people, right? Now, is it going to break down this far of the measured move? No, because that would literally take you to 17 cents. But 75% of that measured move, guess where it is? Ding, ding, ding. 32 cents. Do with that information whatever you will. I'm going to actually put that into that folder. Bang. Right? So let's see what happens. I mean, it just is what it is. That's what it is, man. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for people. Obviously, I don't think you need to trade all of these alts. I truly don't think you need to trade all of these alts because I think you can kill it by not trading alts, but whatever. XRP is having a really, really hard time staying above this point of control of this massive range from here to here, right? If you look at this macro range, you can see, first off, we're in a descending triangle. That's very clear to see. You've got a lot of squeeze left in this descending triangle, right? So you could break up, but what do we know about descending triangles? They tend to break down. You lose that $2 price point on XRP, dude, it is not looking good. It is looking really horrible, and you'll be looking like this guy.
Like, I'm feeling a little irked, or at least like irked adjacent, and then these guys bring in their bad vibes. Bro, I'm straight up not having a good time.
Not having a good time, bro. Not having a good time. I just ashed all over my keyboard. Sorry about that. And if we can bounce from this point of control, this is your target right here. These highs and where this nice little downtrend line is. So we'll see what happens. I can't guarantee anything, but you get below this point of control, it's not looking good. Your target is $2. You get below $2. Your target is the value area low near about $1.75. And if you lose that, oh my God, there is not much to hold you up from getting you back down to 60 cents. And that is bear market blues, baby. You will be playing the bear market blues like Miles Davis out here. So we'll see what happens with that. I want to look and see, do we have any trades set up? Yes, we do. We have, this is not what it should be. This is called the short of the POC's loss and the confirmation and the back test. So that's where that should be. I hate how it just messes my charts up like this. Why is it putting it up here? This doesn't make any sense, man. Come on. So there's your trades. I mean, you can long this POC if you must, right? But you got to watch these highs right here, man. First off, you got to watch this high. You got to watch this high. And you got to watch this downward sloping trend line, okay? Now let's go to Solana really quick and see what's going on with Solana, because I know a lot of people are going to be wanting to look at that. Yep, you just tagged the bottom end of the trend channel. We were talking about this. I don't have the trade set up, unfortunately. You are at the 0.236 Fibonacci of this entire move down from this massive high to this massive low, from all the way from $300 down to $95, man. You have retraced over 75% of this entire range. You are now hitting the bottom end of this parallel. Do we catch a bounce here? Well, your first little resistance is going to be right down, right? So if you want to take this trade, do whatever you want to do. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to give you the levels and the potential that you could do. If you want to take this long at the bottom end of this trend channel, you got to watch this 0.382 fib, and that coincides with the top end of the trend channel. Now, what do we know about these downward sloping trend channels? Well, they can't just go down forever, because what happens if you go down forever? You go to $0. Do you think Solana's going to $0? Probably not. Could it go close? Maybe. I don't know. But these tend to break out, okay? They tend to break out and up. So if you can get above here, that's where you can start thinking about entering some longs. Now, you can enter longs at the bottom. It's a little bit riskier, but I mean, I don't think this is that risky of a trade, to be honest with you. Comparatively to everything else that you could do inside of the market right now, I mean, you've got your lows right here. You've got your lows right here. Depends on if you're like investing or if you're actually active trading. If you're active trading, you can take this as a scalp, or even maybe potentially a few days trade, maybe a swing. I don't know. Sometimes scalps turn into swings. Sometimes day trades turn into swings where you can bring that bad boy all the way up there. But one thing I can say, you lose this 236, it's not looking great. Probably coming down here for these lows, because you've already come for these, and obviously you didn't swing fail them or anything. But we'll see what happens with Solana as it sits right now. I would like to see it kind of turn around here, get up above here, and start working its way back up to that $218 range, which is the 0.618 Fibonacci. Let's look at ETH. ETH, I know, is actually relatively strong comparatively to everything else, okay? There's my little doodle. I called it. This is what we want to see. We want to see us come down into this range with my crazy, ridiculous doodles, right? Want to come all the way up here to the 1.0, right? This is a trend-based fib that we pulled from the previous bull run, right? So if you go back to the lows of 2018 to the highs of 2021 and then to the new lows in 2022 that came subsequently after that, before we smacked the new all-time high, right? This is your trend-based Fibonacci that can tell you where we could be potentially going. Now, if we come down here to the 0.5, in between the 0.5 and the 0.382, this is a pretty good buying opportunity so long as Bitcoin doesn't absolutely poop the bed. And we could see it go up here to about $5,700. That would be your target for your new all-time high, at least on ETH as it sits right now. Now, you could draw a new trend-based fib if you wanted to, but you got to wait until this low comes in because you really don't know where that low is going to be. You can draw it from this low to this new high to this low, and John can give you a different way of looking at that with his range tool, but you got to get into the VIP to be able to get those types of analyses. Okay, so let's see what everybody else has got in the comment section. I know Uganda Dan wanted me to look at Cubic.
Hey, Drew, I did do some quick TA on ICP.
Okay,
I can show you that really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so it's not looking the best for ICP. However, and I don't know whether or not you're trying to like buy on spot, swing trade, day trade, scalp or whatnot, but here's what I'm looking at from a macro viewpoint. Okay, so we had the lows here, and this is on Bybit, and it goes back to like 21. I'm not sure if ICP actually had any data before then, but we'll say it didn't. So we see here that we had a weekly and even a monthly swing failure pattern of the bottom. So that is good news. At least the bulls were able to press it back up before it actually continued on a bigger downtrend. So we had this here as a downtrend, but they were able to scratch that and save it and have a swing failure pattern. And now this should be your target high for this if Bitcoin behaves. Now we are looking at altcoins. We have to also keep in mind the bigger picture of Bitcoin, because when Bitcoin falls really hard, it does have the probability of bringing altcoins down. Now, what do we look for next? We can see that back here, we had a nice golden pocket hit. So that was very well respected. And if you take your most local pull, we have front run the golden pocket. If we go down to a daily time frame, we can see that we had a very nice liquidity level, which it also swing failed. So now that this swing failed, it has a possibility to come back down to this low. However, if things remain bullish, there is a daily order block right here at this blue box. And if we pull our Fibonacci and to the low to the high, we see that we have that nice confluence with our golden pocket, as well as the previous high that created our most recent range demand. Okay, so what else can we look at? What is king in the market? We know that market structure is king. We also know that volume is second to market structure. So let's pull some volume. And now we can see that our point of control is right at that same level of our golden pocket. Now, if we go up a little bit, take a look at the weekly. So let's see about our weekly volume pull from this high. All right. So we can see that the point of control is the exact same as this more local pull. So we know that the majority of the trading is happening right here. So if price were to come down, I would be looking for this area to get hit. And this is where I'd be looking for a long. So for me personally, I would go down on a 4 hour maybe and wait for market structure to shift out of this zone and enter in on a back test. And it does have the potential, if Bitcoin and the markets behave, to then target this high and then to target this high. So that is what I'm looking at on ICP. Our golden pocket, our supply demand, and our volume all align at this level. But again, also have to watch out for what Bitcoin does. It's very, very important.
Yep, 100%. All right, let me go ahead and I'll show you Cubic really quick. If anybody else has anything, drop it in the comments section because we got a few minutes left. We can spare if people want us to do a little bit of TA. If you were here for Solana, Cardano, XRP, ETH, any Bitcoin, gold, silver, even the S&P, we already did that. Just rewind the track, you'll see it. And if you've got anything else, we also just did ICP, John did, and we're going to do Cubic right now, even though I've never heard of Cubic. Probably for good reason, because this chart looks horrible. No offense. I'm just going to be honest with you. I hate charts that look like this. Okay. Like this is crazy to me. Okay. This is showing like so much manipulation in the market. Look at the wicks on these. I mean, look at this. This is insanity. Look at the wicks. I'm still scrolling. Look at those wicks. Look at the percentage move on this candle right here. In one day, 2,600%, right? In another one day, 512%, right? So the reason why I say this is because it shows like a really, really super manipulated market, man. I mean, look at the down moves that you could have had on these days, right? The down move on this day, say you bought on this day, your drawdown was 63%, dude. I have no idea what's going on with this chart, but one thing I do know. Hey, Drew. Yeah.
What is the ticker on that?
QUBIC USD.
Okay. Look at the USDT on MEXC. You'll get a little bit clearer of a chart.
Got it. This looks a lot better. Wow. I was going to say, this thing looks absolutely horrendous, dude. That was on crypto.com, by the way. Okay, this is a lot better. This is a lot better. We are seeing a nice little floor here, right? And you can even move this floor up a little bit if you'd like to. And you could say you are potentially hitting this floor right here. Now, the one thing I would say is if you're looking at this right now, I would be trying to look at, you know, what's going to happen with this parallel, right? What's going to happen with this parallel right here? Who knows, right? Are you going to break out from it? We could see, you know, we can see. Give me 1 second. Let me get this on here. Boom. So, I mean, you have an extremely, extremely downward sloping parallel right now that is absolutely squeezing right here. If you lose this level, I don't even know how to do the calculation on this level. 0.8338 E -6. If you lose that, dude, it is over for this thing. You have one last ditch effort here at like 0.70 E -6. I mean, this thing looks horrible. I don't know what this thing is, but I would be looking at these two things. Boom, bam, right? And I would be looking at this. And you're probably going to dump out and go to zero, right? If that happens. So there's not really much TA to do on a coin like this. I'm going to be honest with you, because it is absolutely murdered. It is absolutely wrecked. Even if you want to try and pull a fib on this, dude, you've retraced almost the entire fib. Can you say that this is a longing opportunity down here? Maybe, right? If you want to break outside of this, you're going to have to wait for a couple of days for this to get any type of confirmation, but just know that you could deviate outside of this and just lose this level all over again. So I would probably stay about as far away from this as possible. I probably wouldn't trade this with my buddy Devin's account and then blame it on my brother. But if you want to, and you're already in the positions, hopefully that helps you. But it does seem to be like you are at a floor here. But if you lose this floor right here, it's not looking great. It's not looking great, my man. So let's see what else we got in the market really quick. I know there's a couple of more that I would like to do a little bit of TA on. That's Avalanche. This is because Wolfer has a little bit of exposure to it. And Avalanche is hitting its floor, baby. I'm liking this. I'm liking the little Avalanche floor right here. That's a terrible I shouldn't have done that, but let's delete that. And where is my tool? Bang, horizontal ray, boom. Nice little floor right here, if you want to call it that. Bam, and you've got some nice little support, okay? Now, your last ditch effort right now to stay bullish is just don't get under here. Do not get under here. That's really what it comes down to. But Avalanche is holding $15 pretty strong. I'm actually quite proud of Avalanche for holding $15. We'll see what happens here, but it definitely is in a descending triangle as well, which there's bearish patterns galore across the entire market. But if you lose this level, you could be coming down here to about $10.80. And then even further than that, you're looking at your floor at about $8.80. Nothing looks really super bullish on Avalanche right now. And that's because overall crypto market is just not super bullish right now. So we got to take that into account. You got to take into account the overarching context of the market. If Bitcoin is going down, then what are we going to see altcoins do, right? Except for your obscure ones that get their random pumps, maybe meme coins here and there, or, you know, some new project that came out with some new, I don't know, technology or something and use case for their stuff, something like Zcash, right? And if we want to, we can go and look at ZEC, right? Because that one is absolutely going just parabolic right now. It's going absolutely crazy. Look at this thing. Insane. Insane. But this isn't the one that I actually have the chart on. Where's my ZEC? That's right, huh? ZEC US dollar on Coinbase, right? I mean, you almost got a perfect golden pocket retrace on this bad boy. I mean, this thing could rip up. You know, it's got this narrative. ZEC right now has this narrative of privacy, like, oh, people are, you know, wanting to get in because privacy coins are hot right now and blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, if you want to trade the narrative, you know, you had your entry in between the 0.5 and the 0.618. If you want another entry, I'm not saying do it because you could be breaking market structure. If you come down here and you crack this low, then your new high would probably be somewhere up there. And that's not looking great, in my opinion. You crack this low, it looks really bad. And you're probably coming right down here to about $294. And that's if you crack the low of 420 bucks. Dude, think about how big of a move down that is. Like, take all of this into account and understand how big of a move down that would be if you cracked this low and you move down to your next level of support, which would be probably these previous highs and this little consolidation range and your 0.786 fib. That is a 30% down move, okay? Trade this sparingly. Be really cognizant of the fact that if you lose that level, especially on the daily chart, that you are breaking market structure. You have a market structure shift to the downside, and it is looking horrible. You have 30% downside from there. So this is not something you're 100x leveraging. Like, this is not something you 100x leverage right now. John, what's your take on this chart? Look at this thing.
Well, I'm looking at it right now. I'm charting some ranges. So we did just touch down into the range deviation. And if you take the more macro look at this, at this bottom to this high, you are bouncing from a more macro golden pocket or golden zone rather, from the 618 to the 786 is my golden zone. And then if you use your most recent range of structure, you see that we nailed the deviation zone with perfection. If you come down to the 1 hour, we can see that we are printing a Wyckoff Model 2. We had that nice structure break, and we had that retest right here. If you pull your fib, you see that you hit your golden zone once again, and you're continuously making these Model 2s over and over again. But we have to also realize that if we take our previous leg down to the low, we are finding resistance at the local golden pocket again. So what I would kind of expect is we're seeing this shift, and maybe you get back in here to revisit this range of demand to make another high.
Bang. I like it. I like it.
Especially if this is really bullish. Yeah, if this is really bullish, It will definitely, these bigger accumulation zones, as long as you don't see another distribution happen around this area, when we get to the discount section, the premium section of this range. So I'd be watching this area. And if we break through that, I would be watching this area.
Boom. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, it doesn't look like we have also, did you get affected by what happened to KDA? Did you see it coming? I definitely didn't. No, I mean, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. We don't really trade altcoins like that. I don't think people need to. We can get 20, 30, 40 R trades on Bitcoin, on ETH, right? So I don't like really trade all of these obscure coins, especially like stuff like Cadena, that it's like so dependent on narratives that I don't like the technicals on them as much, because I know that Bitcoin kind of sticks to the script. Gold sticks to the script. Silver, ES, right, which is the S&P, they stick to the script. I like those assets because I think it's easier and it's better this is just my opinion. People can have their own opinions or whatever. Like they always say, opinions are like buttholes. Everybody has them and they all stink, right? You can have your opinion, but this is mine, and, you know, take it for what it is. I think if you can niche down into maybe 3, 4, 5 assets that you know really well. Like for me, I know gold and silver very well, right? I know Bitcoin pretty decently. I can trade ES pretty decently, right? John knows Bitcoin like the back of his hand. He knows ES like the back of his hand. He knows Euro USD like the back of his hand, right? You don't have to trade 40 coins to make money in the market. There's people that literally trade one asset and they kill it. You can go and look at my win rate. Actually, let's do it. I'll just show it to you, right? Let's add it to the stage. My win rate right here, if you look, I have in 2025 alone, okay, I have almost 90 trades, right? 90 trades. I have 83 wins and 7 losses. I still haven't updated that from earlier today. 90 trades, 165% is what you would have made on these trades if you traded them, you know, the way that we do, and a 92% win rate. Dude, that's absolutely insane. That doesn't make any sense. That's just 2025. And look what we traded in 2025. It's all gold. It's all gold and silver. Literally, not one other single trade. So on 2 assets, and don't get me wrong, like this is just my live documented win rate where I give people trades on, like, you know, the golden nugget every single week. And so I always, you know, I can't like include what I do inside of Nordic Alpha, all the ones that I give out inside of Nordic Alpha, because it's behind a paywall. So people can't verify that, but people can verify every single one of these trades that you're seeing right over there, right? And this is on 2 assets, 90 trades in a year, netting you a 92% win rate and a 200% gain. Like, that's insane, right? I was talking about the mining. We've never done any mining, bro. We have never done any mining. We only validate blockchains, and we definitely wouldn't have mined for Cadena. We would have probably just mined Bitcoin most likely, just because we know how to do that. And I don't like these smaller projects, man. They're way too, like, unfortunately, like, look what's happened with Flux, right? Flux was such a great project at first, and then it just got murdered, man. It just got murdered. So I try to stay away from these obscure coins, these small market caps, comparatively, at least to like Bitcoin, ETH. Obviously, gold is the largest asset in the entire world, just became a tier 1 asset, stuff like that. John, what's your take on that? I mean, niching down and just, you know, focusing on a couple of assets.
That is going to be a similar take to mine. Number one, all the obscure altcoins that are out there. I mean, I'm a scalper and a day trader. I don't really care for swing trading or long-term investing or holding bags and all of that kind of thing, because over the course of 10 plus years of doing this now, I have learned that I make the most money scalping and day trading. Not only that, is I like to end the day at 5 p.m. every day and close all of my trades. It's very rare that I carry a trade overnight. I like to sleep at night. I don't like the stress. And that's just what I've learned and how I've become really kind of own my skill over time. And what led me to doing that is to really focusing on one or two coins at a time. First, it was Bitcoin, and then I kind of got into S&P 500, NASDAQ, gold, silver. Now, do I trade some altcoins? If I do, I will usually only pick maybe the top 10 or 12 altcoins. We're talking XRP, Ethereum, Solana, the top 10, right?
Yep.
So right now, I have about 8 assets that I watch on a weekly basis. Anything outside of that is just a rarity. It's going to be an outlier. And not only that, the reason I choose that is not just because I need my focus, is that over time, once you start to do this and really focus on one or two assets, you really start to see that, hey, each asset has its own characteristics, the way it creates structure, the way it creates ranges, the way it moves at 9:30 when New York Open hits, all these different things. So you have to learn that through experience. And through that, you get better and better and better once you learn a certain asset. So for a beginner, I would probably concentrate on 2 to 3 assets. And once you get a little bit better, maybe 3 to 6. Now, you really don't need any more than that. But that is, again, just my opinion, just my take. However, I do think it is very sound advice and very, very valuable because there's a lot of truth to it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so if you want to get in on the trades that we take, if you want to learn from people that actually are out here taking trades and making money and have live documented win rates that you can see anytime that you want, get into the private VIP trading room, Nordic Alpha. It's literally $29 a month. The worst case scenario for you is that you get in there for $29 and you're like, I hate this. And then you leave. But I can tell you, our attrition rate, which means people leaving, is basically 0. It's not 0. Nothing is 0, right? But it is basically 0 because people get in there and they see not only the trades, but they also see the TA and they learn. Okay. And so if that is something that interests you, I would say get in there and, show some love on this video. Obviously, if you're here on Twitter, thank you for finally getting me to 1,000 followers on Twitter. Thank you. Hit the follow button on Twitter, man. If you want to get into the Nordic Alpha Private VIP, it is the first link in the description below this video on YouTube and the first link in the description of my profile on Twitter. We will be glad to have you all in there. I hope everybody has a good #Friday Pie Day. As you can see, all the Nordic Alpha Wolfpack is going to have a great #Friday Pie Day. They made pizza gains. They made membership gains. They made real gains this week if they took trades. And we are riding into the weekend high on those gains. So we will see you next week technically next week, probably Monday for another stream. And I will talk to you all soon. And everybody show JP some love in the comments section below for coming in and actually doing some TA. Absolutely monster TA that you guys got today. It was a special treat. And we will see you all soon. Peace.